What's up, everybody? This is Lyle with No Hippie Barbecue. I'm going to be doing another pastrami. This time I'm going to be making it out of bottom round beef roast. Making another adjustment that I typically don't use is I'm going to be using a product called Tender Quick as opposed to my Prague powder number 1 or pink salt. The reason for it is I saw a couple comments on my pastrami video where people were asking, how much the pink salt was, where do you get it from? And I got my pink salt off of Amazon, and it's pretty expensive. Even if you buy it at a local butcher shop, it's pretty expensive. So I bought this Tender Quick for $5 for this bag. So we're going to try this out. Now, when you're making it, you do have to use double or even a little bit more than double what you would use of the other stuff. But it still seems to be a little more cost effective, and you could probably buy this at your local supermarket. I bought this at Albertsons, so if you have an Albertsons near you, that's where you can buy this. Now, what we're going to be doing for our cure here is we're going to be adding 2.5 cups of water and 2 cups of Tender Quick. So typically, if you're using the Prague powder, you're going to be using a lot less. So we're going to go ahead and add that in. We have some brown sugar, and we're going to be adding 3/4 of a cup of this. Now, when it comes to making pastrami or any other cured meat, what I got into when I first started doing it was overthinking it. You don't need to follow these ingredients exactly other than whatever the cure is that you're using. So if it's a Tender Quick recipe, follow that pretty strictly. But as far as other stuff, you don't need to really be all that concerned about it. So what I have is the Tender Quick, the brown sugar, and pretty much use whatever you want. I have about 7 cloves of garlic that I have kind of smashed up that we're going to add in. I have a tablespoon of cinnamon, and I'm kind of vaguely following a recipe here on this. I have 3 tablespoons of pickling spice, and then I have 1 tablespoon of ginger. All these ingredients I put in here really doesn't matter as long as the cure is enough for what you're making. So if you want to add hot peppers, or you want to add any other different kind of spice, add those in. Don't need to be exact on that. So the first thing I'm going to do, now that I have my ingredients in this pot, is I'm going to stir it up, and then I'm going to bring it to a boil, and I'm going to let it cool down. I have enough time to let it cool down on its own. If you don't have that much time, but hell, it's going to cure for 7 to 10 days, so you probably have time. So I just let it cool down on its own rather than adding ice to it or anything. So that's what we're going to be doing. I happen to have a 2-pound bottom round roast. I did see in the paper that they had bottom round roast on sale for $2.25, so I will be going to the store as soon as I get this off the oven and going and buying another one of these so I can double up the recipe. I'm not doubling up the recipe I have here, I'm just going to add the meat because I've already doubled the recipe. Anyway, I'm going to have my recipe in the description. Feel free to adjust it as needed as long as you have enough of the Tender Quick if you're using that. Our brine has kind of come to room temperature. We're going to go ahead and add this meat. I did have a chance to go to the store and get another cut of meat. This is about 3.5 pounds here, so we're going to go ahead and add this. And the other one is a little over 2 pounds, and could I be any more messy? Alright, so there we go. This is going to go in the refrigerator for about, I'm probably going to have it about 10-11 days. Now, this is the first time I'm working with Tender Quick. One thing that I did notice when I was looking at a few recipes online is that you're not going to need to add the salt. So that is one thing if you're going to be kind of weighing it, which I do when I'm making my own, that you're not going to be adding any salt to it. Anyway, we're going to let this brine, we're going to pick it up 10-11 days from now, get it on the smoker, see how it turns out. Like after sitting in this brine for about 9 days, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drain it off and we'll take a look at it. This is what our meat looks like once I've got it all drained off. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to fill this back up with water and let it sit overnight and pull out some of that extra salt that may be in there. So this has been soaking for a day, so we pulled out a lot of that salt. Now there's still going to be some salt in the meat, so now I'm going to rub it down, and I'm just going to use a rub I kind of threw together. cayenne pepper, black pepper, some coriander, some brown sugar, and some garlic powder. That's it. And we're going to go semi-liberal on it. And I'm not using a binder or anything. This is going to have a chance to sit here for a minute while I go out there and get my Weber fired up. So I'm going to finish getting these done and I'll meet you out at the smoker. Weber Smoky Mountain. I'm going to be cooking this at about 250 degrees and I'm going to take these off once I hit about 170 internal temperature. So I'm going to get this lid on. 3 hours in and I am right at 160 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and let this stay on just another hour. I'm not going to worry about what temperature it comes to because I'm going to go ahead and let it cool down and then steam it a little bit later. So now that's my plan on it. Cooking these to somewhere in the mid 160s as far as internal temp. I just threw them in the refrigerator and let them cool down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to steam them until we come back up to about 170 degrees. So what I have is I have a quarter pot of water and I'm going to throw this vegetable steamer on it. And then we're just going to throw the meat on here and get them on the stove until we get to 170. If you don't have a setup like this, I'm sure that you can find another way to steam it. I'm not even going to say that steaming it is all that important. I've done it without steaming it and it came out fine, but we're going to steam it today. Here we are at 176 degrees. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these out and just set them in a pan and let them come to room temperature, and then we'll slice it up and taste it. I wanted to give you a little bit of a preview. This is back down to room temperature, and I have cut a little bit off of this, but I just kind of wanted to kind of show you. This is kind of what we're looking like right now. Now I've taken a taste of this, which I'm doing now. It's not quite as tender as I want, so I pulled it off at like 165-ish, something like that, or 170. I'm going to take this all the way up to like 190, 195, and then cool it back down. Then we're going to see if that comes out any tender or any more tender. The flavor is all here on this though. So guys, what I did was I actually took this up to about 185 degrees. I haven't had a chance to eat it yet once it's got to this temperature, but my in-laws have. They said it was good, so it's time for me to go ahead and take a taste and see what's up. Now what I'm going to do is cut it against the grain. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And go ahead and take a taste. Like I said, the flavor is all there in this. So, if you're thinking about wanting to cure something and you don't want to go online and buy Prague powder #1 or spend as much money as it costs to do that, I really do like this Tender Quake recipe. That being said, if I had a chance to do pastrami with the brisket or a bottom round, it is kind of good though. I would take the brisket. Man, this is good. But that's just my opinion. Steaming it that second time up to that higher temperature definitely worked. So if you're seeing recipes online that are calling for that 165, 170 mark, don't trust that. This is extremely good. Hate to keep talking, but anyway, the reason I made this was my in-laws are in town. They're into a bunch of sandwiches and stuff like that, so that's why I made this primarily. Let me shut up. Anyway, whether it's bottom round, top round, brisket, try this recipe out. Thanks for stopping by No Hippie Barbecue. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.